Okay, so I'm making chilli. I thought I would go through this with you just in case if you can't get your packets of chilli to make. I haven't got the bin, so I should just put it on this cling film. Yeah, if you don't have packets of chilli, because some people do cook out of packets. This is onion. I had half of an onion left, so I'm going to use an onion and a half. Some people use 2 onions, it depends how much onion you want, but some people cook out of packets, but you don't have to cook out of packets, although you could probably more readily get packets of chilli now than you can actually get tins of tomatoes, so it just depends what you can get hold of. But I'm doing this fresh with tins of tomatoes from scratch, the way my mum taught me, for my dinner for the next probably 4 days, because I can only make chilli for 700 people because I'm Irish. And that's what we do, we over cater. Right, so let's just get that out of the way. I don't need all of that. So I'm chopping up to, well, an onion and a half. I had one already chopped up. So I'm just going to do this. I'm not a chef, so I don't do all that with the chopping. So, but you know, I've cooked for years, my mum taught me, and I just thought I would share this with you just in case you would like to know how to make it and you're just a normal person like me. I'm not a chef, I'm not Delia Smith or Nigella Lawson, as you can see, and I just thought I would, while I was cooking my dinner tonight, share with you how to make my chilli. I mean, not everybody makes a chilli like this. You know, there's possibly actual Mexican ways of making a chilli. But this is the way that I've always been taught by my mum. I would love to know what herbs are supposed to go into chilli, because I just use basil because it's just a much milder herb. But, you know, I would imagine there's an actual herb that Mexicans use in their chilies, and I would love it if someone could tell me what that was. But at the moment I'm using basil, so yeah. Let me know, that would be fabulous if you could. Okay, so just sorting out my garlic. Now I used to cut my garlic by hand because, you know, it was a lot more cost effective than buying a garlic press. However, I'm using a garlic press because they're a lot quicker than cutting by hand, but I don't like waste. So these will be going in and in and in till I can get as much as I can out of the garlic as possible. Don't like waste. And in these times, where things are a little bit more, I mean, most things are okay to get hold of now, but just in case, I just believe in using as much of your garlic as possible. I'm just going to poke this down so I can get more out. There we go. Very boring to watch because obviously I'm not one of those chefs where it's all done really quickly. I'm not a chef, I'm just someone's mum living on her own with her cats at the moment because my son is self-isolating in his flat, like he should. So I don't know why I've put that in actually, because I don't usually put the garlic in at that point, so that was a bit silly of me, and I am now going to have to take it out with a spoon, because the thing is, if you put your garlic in too soon it will burn, and we don't need that. No one wants burnt garlic in their dish, it tastes really bitter. So hang on. Right, that's all out. So got my onion in the pan, Got my, would help if I held my knife the right way around. Got my pepper. I've got half a red one and I've got a yellow one here. Not the prettiest peppers, but they will do. Take the labels off. No one needs the labels on. No one needs to be eating plastic. And I learnt this way from Ready Steady Cook right back when Ainsley used to do it. Just to get your pithy bits out of your peppers. And how to get your main seedy bit out of your pepper. Because I don't like the pithy bits and I don't like the seeds in it. The only thing I put the seeds in my chilies, because obviously that's where all your heat is. So let's just get rid of all of this rubbish I don't need. Using the back of my knife, well actually I used my blade then, didn't I? So just cut. I like to get as much prepared before I start cooking as possible because it just saves time afterwards. So I'll cut up my peppers. The green ones are a bit bitter at the moment, so I tend to use red, orange and yellow more than any other colour, just because I just don't like that bitter taste of the green ones. There we go. Some yellows. Got a cat going mental in the hallway trying to get into the kitchen at the moment. Okay. So that's these are my sweet peppers. Obviously I'll be adding chili peppers as well. Okay, finish off this red one because I had a red one that I only needed to use part of the other day, so I'll just finish that off now. Take the sticky label off. Nobody needs to eat that. There we go. Rid of my seeds. There we go. A lot slower than the chefs, I know. But this is just what I learnt from my mum, so I am not a professional. There we go. And also, with me being so slow, you should be able to keep up with me, because there's nothing worse when you're trying to do something when you've got somebody like cutting things really quickly, chucking things in, and it's all so quick, and you can't keep up, and it's a nightmare. So that's my sweet peppers. Like I say, I'm just getting all of this done beforehand. Okay, so these chilies are, what heat are my chilies? I'm sure it said, oh, these are a medium chili. So it depends on how hot you like your chili. Now, if it was my son, he would want all of them in. But it's me, so I'm probably, because I'm a bit of a wuss, going to put 3 in, because they're a medium, maybe 4. Actually, I'll put 4 in, but that will make it fairly hot for people that aren't my son. So right, I'm just gonna roughly chop those, and I'm gonna leave the seeds in of these because that's where you get all your heat from. Just roughly chop those. I will have to carefully wash my hands afterwards because I will be petting cats and this will hurt them because it is hot. Okay, so that's all cut. Garlic's all ready to go in. I have my mince. I'm only using a 500 gram pack of mince. I usually use a kilo, so that will affect how much. I don't know why I put this. You know, I am not paying attention. Right, let's get the heat on under these onions. Okay. Right, so I'm standing on pepper on the floor here. Okay, so I've got the heat on underneath my onions. I'm going to pull a spoon out, and then I'm going to reposition you. So you're not very high, so you won't be able to see my pot, as in the contents of my pot. So I'm just going to stir, cooking my onions until they go translucent, which is kind of, I know it's difficult. You kind of, they go a little bit milky. They cook. You don't want them to be burnt. You don't want them to brown because we don't want any coloration on them. It does affect the taste. If I was doing a curry, I might brown them a bit more because you can get that lovely deep flavour off them then, but I'm not. I'm doing a chilli. So I'm just going to... I want them to go slightly translucent because obviously when I'm cooking the meat, I don't want the onions to brown, so I don't want them to go too... don't want them to cook too much at this point. There we go. There we are. Just get all of those in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to brown off the mince, and then I'm going to add the chilli, because not the chilli, I'm going to add the garlic, because I don't want the garlic to burn, and I do find sometimes when you're frying off the mince, because it can take a little bit to get it all browned, I don't want to burn the garlic, so I'm going to put it in after I've browned off my meat. I can't tell you the amounts of anything because I just do it by taste, and then afterwards you can add more seasoning if you haven't added a lot. I know a lot of chefs don't add their seasoning until last, and there is probably a really good reason for that. I'm just going to turn the heat under my rice because I'm doing basmati rice from cold water. So I am going to brown up my meat in my pan. I'm just breaking down the mince. You don't want it in big solid lumps. And also, contrary to belief, just because it's minced doesn't mean it's a quick meat to cook. If you don't cook it properly, you can get ill. This is a nice meal to cook a few hours ahead, because then the flavour really works through it. So if you want it and you want to eat it in half an hour, that's not going to happen. This is kind of a much slower meal to do, and actually it will be much nicer to eat tomorrow, but it will be nice tonight, but it'll be much nicer tomorrow. So I've got that almost browned. I'm going to add in my garlic. There we go. You have to fry off your garlic because it's very hot if it's not cooked enough, but it is very bitter when it's burnt. So you, like I say, you don't want to put it in right from the beginning. The chefs will probably all argue with me, but like I say, I'm not a trained chef. Okay, so I'm actually going to add my basil at this point. A handful. If you've got fresh basil, I probably won't need to use as much as that, but I just find it loses its flavour after a while when it's dried. Fresh is much nicer if you can get it. Okay, right, and then I'm going to add my chillies now, and the seeds. Give them a bit of a stir. we go. Now, I'm also, I've just burnt my plastic, I'm going to add some salt at this point. I know that the chefs don't that much. I will end up adding more because once you've added your tomatoes, that does mask the taste a little bit. I'm going to put my peppers in. Give them a little bit of stir. Okay. Right, now I'm going to add in 2 tins of chopped tomatoes. I'm going to throw that one in. Give it a stir. Go all around. Okay, add in some tomato puree. This is just Tesco's own. 2 big squirts, probably about a tablespoon and a half, something like that. Just depends on how intense you want your flavours. There we go. And now my kidney beans. I don't buy them with any flavours because I think if you buy them with chilli on them already, or if you buy them with any herbs or garlic in, you can't gauge what the flavour of your chilli is going to be, and I like to know what flavours I'm putting in, so what I add is enough for me. So that's that. So that's everything in. So now what I'm going to do, once that comes to the boil, I'm just checking my rice. Once that comes to the boil, I will turn the heat down on it, and then that will be simmered, cooked over a low heat for about an hour and a half, I guess. So if I show you inside my pot, so there is my chilli bubbling over nicely. I will turn it down a little bit more once it gets the heat up, because we don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. I am cooking my rice now. Some people, I think a lot of people rinse their rice off first and then they boil it. I've never done that. I've always cooked my rice in cold water, salted water, because I like my rice to have a little bit of flavour to it. I've always put it in from cold. It's basmati rice. Once it reaches boiling point, it only takes about 7 minutes to cook. It's really quick. I think probably from putting it in the water to cooking, it's 15 minutes maximum. You don't need it any more cooked than that, because then I'll drain it and put it in cold water. I rinse it afterwards in cold water, which stops it clinging together, and then I will microwave it for about a minute and a half. So you can cook it straight, if you want to eat it straight away, you can drain it off and then just put it straight on your plate. But yeah, I like it a little bit more drained than that. So I rinse it in cold water and give it a bit of a shake and then leave it to settle. So there you go. So that has taken me 18 minutes from start to finish, or 19 minutes right now, to show you how to cook it. And now it will just sit there, do its thing, get a lovely rich flavour, and I'll be eating in a couple of hours. Bye.